Generation Dan. Wasn't it great when the Kansas City Royals won the Super Bowl?
What?
I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. I'm your Gen Xer.
And I'm Cole Clayton. I'm raging from that statement.
I know. Feel the burn. Yeah, and our guest today, she has the world's best laugh, and she's a great friend of mine, Carol Newell. How are you?
And I'm a Gen Xer.
Nice.
You seem so employable and reasonable and knowledgeable. I just assumed. So
You're welcome,
yeah, that's the state. So it is going to be quite the day today for I guess everybody. Carol, are you going to watch the Super Bowl? No. I'm watched the Super Bowl lots of times, and I'm like, I don't remember not one of them where I was like, wow, that was. I'm like, I don't care.
You gotta like put the effort in during the season, and then it brings it out for you. A lot of people are like, I'm just gonna watch the commercials. Well, then you're living a sad life because the commercials have been shit since like 2012.
I still love Terry Tate. Terry Tate, offensive linebacker. I applied for that job, bro. Okay.
The only stuff that we remember about past Super Bowls is any like crippling injury to somebody, any scandals like Deflategate, the commercials, and Janet Jackson boobs. That's it.
Which didn't even
my hometown in Houston.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, you picked the wrong person for Super Bowl Sunday because I never watched.
No, that's okay. That just means we have better things to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so this Super Bowl Sunday, I'm going to my future father-in-law's house to watch with him because my fiance is going to see The Lion King at the Pantages with her nephews, and I want to go to that. But she's like, I'm taking the kids. You go watch the Super Bowl with my dad. He's lonely. And I'll be honest, I guarantee you he wants to watch by himself. I know he will, right?
For sure. 100%.
I talked to my dad, who's a big football fan, like my soon-to-be father-in-law, and he's like, I hate it to go to a Super Bowl party and everyone's not watching the game. I want to watch the game.
Yes.
So I'm just going to do the happy wife, happy life thing, but I asked my dad to come along. So it is Super Bowl Sun, Dad. Let's go.
There's not a father in existence who wants that to be the name of it.
That's the other thing. Now you're just sitting there being the disappointment to two grown men. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never live up to your father's expectations. And then, of course, you never live up to your father-in-law's expectations. And then you're going to not like football at a Super Bowl party with those two. Come on. You should have thought this out.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I know how football works. Like, I know how the game works. I know what's going on in the screen.
That's what every girlfriend says.
No. But, like, I played football as a kid. Thanks, Victoria. I played football as a kid. I know how the game works. I don't know any of the players. I don't know what's going on with, like, the strategy or the trade deadlines or anything. So, fuck it. I'm just going to be like, yeah, first down. I know what happened.
Which team are you for?
Don't care.
Me neither.
I'm for Stoikea, Team Stoikea.
I don't even know who's playing. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know who's playing.
Philadelphia Eagles and the
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I know a few people that really want the Eagles to win, and I kind of want to see them cry.
I don't have a dog in either race, honestly. I hate both of those teams, really, honestly.
Aren't you next door to Philadelphia?
Huh?
You're not that far from Philly.
Like 4 or 5 hours. That doesn't mean that I like the team. I don't really like the state of Pennsylvania at all, if I'm being honest with you.
That's a fair statement.
I despise their politics. They're the reason that Tommy Chong was in federal prison, like over some bogus. Like, I don't. They had like no refusal laws and shit like that. They're like out to get people. I'll be honest with you.
That's why he was gone from that 70s show for like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Leo was a national treasure.
Absolutely. And every town had that Photoshop. It was like, no problem.
Every town had a Leo.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's, well, except for people who gamble. I'm sure the people who gamble have an interest, Joey.
Literally, no one is rooting. I agree with you there, Joey.
It's a weird. Like, this is the thing is, I remember when sports like dominated television, right? And now it's like there's so much other horrible things to watch that people are like, I can't worry about other rich people. I'm worrying about rich people that can pretend so well. It's a tricky thing, right? That's also too, like, definitely watching for people to just get like taken down is I enjoy that part of the Super Bowl a lot. But
I will say I have lost my I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it. My desire to watch football when that dude had the heart attack a few months ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know if I don't even want to watch this anymore because I watched it happen. Like, I didn't realize what happened right away, but like I saw the play. You know what I mean? And he just fell down.
That's terrifying. Like, and that's the thing too is like there are a few people who made comments about him, and they're like, "Well, why aren't they continuing the game?" And you're like, "Ooh, that's not going to age well."
I was like, "That's in poor taste." A game matters more. And then I got in this argument on social media about it. People are like, "Well, there's a lot of bets on this game. There's a lot of going on, and the vendors and everything." I'm like, I don't care about your money. Like,
yeah, if in the middle of a football game, someone goes, "I'm coming, Elizabeth." Yeah, it's done. You're not.
For sure.
Good Gen X reference.
Yeah, big one.
Isn't that how Red Fox died? Like, he literally had a heart attack, and then they didn't realize that he wasn't faking.
That sounds right.
I feel like that's bound to happen when you do it on live television. Coming, it's a boy who cried.
As sarcastic as I am, that's how I'm gonna go. Like, I'm gonna be like, guys, y'all need to get me a hospital. And they're like, oh, okay, you need to go to the hospital.
I think it was there was one guy's last words where I told you I was sick, and that was he died.
That is the best.
It was like someone like famous. It was not Oscar Wilde, writer maybe or something, where he's like, I told you guys I was sick. Then kicked it. Could you
imagine the pain, like the spite it takes to leave somebody with those as your departing words? Like,
oh, I totally would though,
because that's gonna stick with whoever he said it to for the rest of their life.
Yeah, it's on his tombstone, by the way.
Hey, so what?
It's on his tombstone.
Oh shit! Max level pettiness.
Oh yeah, but you have to admit, like, being able to say, "Hey, I forgive you all, but I blame you. This is all your fault." On your deathbed, you're like, that's a stand and a half. Someone is definitely getting ruined off that one.
Yeah,
they must have felt some type of way. Like, people must have been like telling you're fine. You know what I mean? Like he must have really took it to heart. You know what I mean? For him to leave that with somebody.
Okay, let's say you have the ability to control your famous last words, like you're in your deathbed, and then all of a sudden an angel shows up and it's like, hey, you're gonna die, but I'll give you just enough like strength to say whatever you want in these moments. Go ahead. What do you say? just for like the craziest scenario, right?
I mean, I'm the level of petty that if I was in that situation, I would say that while I'm like in the bed or whatever, I would be like, yeah, I told you guys I was sick, and then like for 6 months while I'm dying, just never say anything. So it would be my last words, just out of spite.
I feel like I'd have to say, don't worry, I left a bunch of money in the...
Definitely.
Like, that's a real...
No, tell them. I left a bunch of money in my backyard, and they just dig for years.
Well, no. You got to do it like somewhere completely insane that they would never get to. Right. Where they're like, don't worry, I left a bunch of money in the bathroom in the...
I hid it in all the pipes. It's in the pipes. Just take those.
People, it's not in here. It's not in this one.
Or even worse would be if you're a parent or a grandparent, you go, my favorite is, and then like whichever one you want to...
My favorite one that's definitely not your favorite, and no one had ever thought it was your favorite, and just to screw with everyone, be like, it was you all along. What's the me?
Just leave it. Leave no money to that particular kid, but tell everybody that he was the favorite. So it just kind of like,
yeah.
Well, does mom think that she didn't leave me money because I'm the favorite, which means that like she thought I could, take care of myself better than all of them? Like, I don't understand.
That's horrible parenting. I trusted that you could pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's the block. Don't worry. I didn't leave you anything.
Everyone else got a nice $250K.
Yeah. God.
That's one of those things, right? All right.
Let's ask Carol some questions.
All right. First one.
What's an embarrassing song from your playlist?
I was just thinking about that the other day. I played What Does the Fox Say?
Oh my God.
And
I forgot about that one.
This guy at work, he's like, I have avoided that song for 12 years and you just played it and I hate
you. I feel like that's a good coworker. That's a good coworker. Like,
yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
They must be experts at Whamageddon or whatever it is, where you're trying not to hear Last Christmas during Christmas season.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it came out when I was in college and I so avoided it. And like when I started playing it, he didn't know what song it was, but when it got to the chorus, he's like, oh my God! Oh my gosh. I was like, sorry, didn't know.
That's good. That's quality.
Nice. Yeah.
It's nice to ruin people's day like that. That's fair.
What an asshole to be like actively avoiding a song like that. Like,
for 12
get
years.
over yourself.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, 12 years is a little much. That guy, like, you have a doctorate in avoiding something. That's not a good use of time.
He's a grudge holder. I can tell you that.
Right. For sure. I'm avoiding a song. Honestly, what did the song do to you? Like,
I feel like you need to change your ringtone to that and just start and call yourself and be like, "Who's playing that?" And just to really mess with him, because that's
I told him, well, at least it's better than Baby Shark. So.
Oh yeah. No. Okay. So for our wedding,
somebody said Baby Shark is their embarrassing song recently.
I think so, because one of them had kids, right? That was
I think that's what it was, yeah, or nephew or something.
One of the songs on my wedding playlist is a trap version of Baby Shark, because Katie's like, we have kids at this wedding, they need to have a dance song to dance to. I'm like, I'm going to kill myself.
Something you realize when you're older, kids couldn't give a shit what song is played. They will dance on your feet and they will have a great time, much better than you'll have, I'll tell you that,
because they ain't got to pay any of the bills.
True.
That's true. I feel like that's the line. As soon as you have to start paying for stuff, that's the things start to go downhill. And the only saving grace is like if you marry money and you're like, aha, almost hit the bottom, but it's just swooped up, and then
yeah,
it's like my kid. He was telling me about the free stuff in his game or whatever. I'm like, everything you've ever had in your life is free for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you're excited. Like,
what was I thinking of with so on Twitter the other day, somebody like in that I was following was like, man, this classic came out 10 years ago today and it was Rebecca Black's Friday. I'm like, fuck you, I don't want it. That was not a classic. That came out my senior year of high school, and we were all going, that song fucking sucks, I never want to hear it again.
Okay, but have you seen Rebecca Black now? Because I would encourage you to Google it, because you'll be like, that's not the same person, and then you're like, oh, she's gone through some things. It's a unique.
That's like what was it? Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson is 20 years old, and I'm like, I heard that the other day. I was like,
yeah, that's that I find has been happening a lot more, where people are like, this actually happened today. Was one of the other shows I'm on posted. He goes that We're Not Going to Take It came out 40 years ago, and it looks like we really did take it. And I commented, I'm like, we didn't just take it. We asked for seconds and thirds, and essentially we chose obesity over rebellion. We suck. That's really what it is. And they were just like, oh, that's much worse than the original statement. I'm like, yeah, but it's true. We chose. Yeah, we chose getting fat over rebellion, which I'm not saying I haven't had fun with, but I think it's good luck, Gen Z. You gotta big fight. That's
Somebody said like 2050 is closer than 1990, and I was like,
oh, oh that's fuck you, man.
Not by much, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, in 2050, I'll be 56. Fuck.
You'll be my age.
Will we be that old? Oh my god!
Awesome.
Yeah. I'll be
Stop it! Turn time off.
I'll be dead by 10 years at least.
No, come on.
Hey, listen. I've explained this to a couple people. Being the size that I was, I aged in dog years, like 7 years for one on everything. And, you know, now that I'm losing weight, I'm like, oh, everything still hurts because it's broken. Awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now it's just 2 for everyone instead of 7.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The way I described it here, Carol, I'm currently in Mexico. I'm coming back probably this week, but they. I said, I go, when I was at my biggest, I had a scale that went up to 450 pounds. And I made it say, "E." So,
wow. An error.
And I would say, I'm the size of 2 large men. And now I'm like, I'm the size of 2 very athletic men. Probably marathon runners. Maybe CrossFit. I don't know, but that's about my,
that's why they call it size 1X, 2X, 3X, because you're 1 times the size you should be, 2 times the size you should be,
oh, man.
3 times the size.
You hurt my feelings.
I'm XL too. That's not fair.
Yeah, I'm an extra large myself.
Yeah.
Carol's gonna go down as the meanest guest we've ever had. Do we get
any points?
I'm not skinny, so I feel you.
And all 3 of us are 6-footers. Do we get any points for that?
Sure.
Like, does that help? Does that mean like the XL is justified in any type of way?
Yeah, XL, you're good. It's when you get into the 1X, 2X, that's when you know.
What do you mean 1X?
Yeah, that's bigger than XL.
Yeah,
there's 2XL. I've been that fat before. Where I was at 2X. But fuck you, Atlas. Nobody cares. Oh, I do yoga. I'm from California.
I have 5XL. That's fine. I'll see you all in hell. Just so you know.
Every time I think of a big and tall story, I just think of that Family Guy cutaway where it's he's like, I can't wait to be big, and then it's just him doing a big and tall commercial.
Yeah, it's the funny thing. I remember going to Buffalo to the Big and Tall there, and I was like, "What's the biggest thing you have?" And they gave me a leather jacket that was 6XL. This is years ago. I put it on, and I was like moving it like it was like a
Batman little coat.
No. It was so big that I'm like, I've never had this much room in a coat. I'm like, what kind of bird? I'm like, have you ever sold this? He goes, we sell one every year. Same guy. And I was like,
wow,
that's yeah.
Wait, so that means that the same guy is coming back every year. He's like, I wore out the last one. Give me a new.
Yeah, when you're fat, you wear through clothes. Like there are only very few things that I've been able to save through my existence. Just
Chub Rub Club, anybody? Where the crotch or like the inside of the legs get worn out from just walking?
Oh, I'll probably throw out boxer briefs probably once every 3 months because of that. Just brand new.
I can create fission between my legs right now.
I have thighs like a fucking football player though. Like they're just like they're huge. Even when I was skinny, they were just like the size of my head. There's no reason for my thighs. So
it's from carrying around your ego. Don't worry.
It's pretty heavy.
It's pretty huge.
It has an atomic weight on the periodic table. It's so heavy.
It's a negative number. I love it. What's up, Nick? That's pretty fair. Let's go on to our next. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. I'm an adult. You can't stop me. Something in your life, maybe you embellish. It could be something as simple as breakfast for dinner or whatever you want.
Well, I had a kid. She wasn't my kid. She was my sister's kid, and she lived with for 11 years. Mm-hmm. And when she turned into a teenager, I got to hear sermons about where was I, what was I doing, when was I coming home, all this kind of stuff. And then she left about 1.5 years ago, and I have been living the life since then. the life of I'm an adult, I can do what I want. Because nothing is worse than having a teenager tell you that your life is effed up, and she doesn't realize that she's the one that did it.
Yeah. Like that's I find that is very interesting when people are like, I didn't ask to be born. I'm like, listen, you know, shit, okay? None of us did. It's not the point. Just get off your ass and do some shit, okay? Because the rest of us, good jobs, okay? You're just fucking, you have to learn. That's all. Just read a book. You dick. You're like, reading. You're like, go to the mine. That's where you belong. Go to the mine, and then you'll see how nice reading is, you little bastard. Yeah.
The way my parents countered that, like, I didn't ask to be born, because my sister did that a lot when we were kids. I didn't ask to be born. And they would go like, well, okay, we're trying to teach you these things so that you can grow up, get the skills that you need to get out of here and go live your life.
Yeah.
So take out the trash, maybe? Like, something like that.
Yeah,
and
they're
then,
not hearing that.
It would work. Like, she'd go do it. There was
I feel that though, because I had custody of my sister when she was like 15, 16. Here I am. I'm 23, 24 years old. Okay, because my parents' situation is just fucked off.
Sorry.
And I'm arguing with somebody who's my age. I'm like, can you please pick up after yourself? Can you not like sneak out of my house at night? It makes me look like a bad parent, even though I'm not your parent. And she, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad. I'm like, I'm half of your brother, really. Even I'm not even really your real brother, but you do live here.
What kind of soap opera shit is that? I'm not your real brother.
That's a good comeback, though. It's like, listen, I'm not even your real brother. Fuck off. Don't give me any shit. Like, we're strangers, basically.
We have different dads. Like, the only reason that you live here is because your mom's fucked up. Like,
and you understand exactly how fucked up. That's like
right.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know. I was talking about this on stage, which Carol saw last night, with my half siblings. Where like they're starting to get a little too big for their britches, and they're like they're 10 and 12 now, and especially the younger one.
They're twins.
Yeah, they're tweens, and like I really, because my dad's kind of too old to really like give him a little bump on the nose. So that's gonna fall to me, and can't wait. It's gonna be fun. I'll figure it out.
It's very simple with young kids. What you do is you take them to a restaurant and be like, okay, so you're buying, right? Mm-hmm. And then you walk away and watch them. Well, you're an adult, right? So take me out for dinner.
I do that at the cash register at the grocery store.
Absolutely.
I just walk away.
So it is on purpose.
All right, just hold them off. Don't let them.
It is on purpose.
Don't let them scan anything until I get back. All right.
I thought my mom did that to screw with me. She would always be like, stay here, I forgot something. And then she would leave, and then I would start to panic. Because I was like, are they going to expect me to pay for it? I'm 7. And then she'd come back. And I think, so it is on purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
Asshole.
That is a life lesson that has existed longer than buildings. Like, that's just, okay, you do it. You want to be such big shit? Go do it. I'll be waiting once you're done. Let me know. And watch them. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, not so. Guy, at a machine shop, that shit involves fire and welding and like very dangerous. It was like, oh, you said you could do everything. Okay, I need you to use the acetylene torch and burn that steel. You're gonna have to cut it by these dimensions. Go for it. Like,
the best mind fuck, I think, is when they're getting chummy and acting like they're the boss. Is you just drive to a McDonald's. And they're excited because they're getting McDonald's, and then you're like, "All right, go apply for a job. I'll be back after your shift."
And you better tell them, you're like, "Listen, if you don't get this job, we don't get McDonald's anymore. I need that discount. So pick one."
Yeah, you don't get this job, you can't come back to the house.
Yeah,
lunch is expensive, and you're doing nothing but watching TV. I swear to God.
Carol, did you ever like get a moment like that with your niece or?
You know what? Actually, before she left, like slightly before she left, she was like, I don't want to go shopping with you. You just give me money and I'll go shopping. And I was like, oh, that's going to work out good. And then days later, I'm hungry. Well, what happened to all your money? You went shopping, right? Well, no, not really. I just bought food. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
I did that with my 22-year-old brother last year. And I just gave him $50. It was like, I gave him a list. I gave him a list and $50. And he came back with like the name brand version of like the first 4 things on my list.
That's it.
And spent all the money. I was like,
I think
you son of a bitch.
That's why you always look at the bottom and the top. The more expensive things are in the middle.
Yeah.
It's eye level. Yeah.
Listen, to be honest, let's be real. I think the win there is he can read. He's good at it, but he can read. Comprehension's there. Now it's just experience. That's fine.
Yeah, because legibility is not my family's strong suit. So
yeah, she was the worst.
Rihanna nipple. Yeah, well, that's a halftime show. Possibly Rihanna nipple. We can only hope. That's only fair. Internet, do your thing. That's pretty fair.
Joey, I actually am going to my Super Bowl party after this, so like I'm booked.
You're gonna end up at Joey's, aren't you? Still,
I got my kid and shit. I gotta drop him off.
Of the one time I've been to
after
Joey's,
the party,
I pity you.
Yeah, Carol, a little while ago when Atlas was in Cleveland, I was supposed to be there, but I wasn't allowed to go because of the fun at the border. But they were able to host a show with our friend Joey at a Square Table Degenerates, and they all got high just by walking in his garage. It's pretty funny.
Really? Yeah, just walking in the contact high.
That contact
high.
Oh
my god!
It was like, oh my god! It was like the background of any episode of that '70s show. Just.
Honestly, I don't even think there was smoke. I think it was just like the studio was like caked in keef.
Yeah,
like you just walk in and it's just in the air.
He's like, that's how I insulate the building.
Right, it's like weed dust, pixie dust.
Yeah, instead of bricks, there's bricks of weed.
Right, stoner dust.
Oh god.
So let's ask the third question, and then there was something that I saw on the internet that I wanted to talk about with you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I need an adultier adult. The situation where you were pegged as the person in charge and or of responsibility, and you went, no, thanks.
Wow. I don't know. I'm the oldest, and I've always been the responsible one. So usually, whenever there's a situation, I'm like, this is what we're going to do. I know what to do. So yeah, I don't think I've ever encountered that. Like, I'm usually the one who knows. Like, if I don't even know the answer, I at least know where to look for the answer. You know what I mean?
Hey, you can't know everything, but knowing where to look is what counts as a resourceful person, because you can't know everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many times people ask things and I'm like, let's just Google it.
There's actually a meme I have somewhere where it's a guy messages a number and he's like, the patient has this. I'm not sure what to do. Can you assist? And the person responds like, hey man, I'm not a doctor. I think you have the wrong number, but I Googled it and I think they need a stent. The person responds like, oh my God. So you came up with that? It took medical professionals with decades of experience 4 hours. And you're saying, like, listen, I know Google's the devil, but also like, just Google it, see what happens.
Google.
It's going to say they're dead, or here's maybe a solution. You know, it's better than WebMD.
It always have the right answers, but a lot of times it does.
Yeah. Well, like, listen, we all know WebMD is the last resort. When you assume you're going to die, you want to know what you're going to die from. WebMD, you're definitely going to die. It's what is going to do it. It's a fair. Yeah,
I have a lot of cancer scares from WebMD, so.
Well, this is the weird thing is like
all you symptoms are cancer.
Oh yeah. Well, and so Cole used to be very fat and he lost weight. I used to be exceptionally fat. I'm still fat, but less fat. But the same thing is like as you lose, you're like you start to feel something. You're like, hey, is that supposed to be bumpy?
Right. Why does that hurt?
Yeah, and then you're like,
those are your testicles. You're supposed to see those.
Well, and as you get older, you just wake up with stuff like you weren't expecting. Like, why am I in pain? I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it just happens.
No lie though. I had a pain in my chest for probably like 4 or 5 weeks straight, and I thought I was dying. I was like, I have esophagus cancer. This is it. This is the end. And then I spoke to I didn't go to the doctor, but I ran into a medical professional and I asked him about it. I was like, so what's that? He's like, well, you're hunching as we speak. Try standing up straight and see if the pain goes away after a couple days. And I shit you not.
Yeah.
As you were saying that, it made me just sit up straighter because
I think it did all of us.
and you're like, it can't be that simple. And then you're like, no, that's it. You've been slouching forever, and it just eventually starts causing problems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got one of these little like back roller things, a little tiny one, and I put it in my lower back, so it forces you to sit up straight because you got to keep it pressed against the chair. It's been quite good for my back.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So this thing, I saw it on Reddit earlier this week, and this is a huge, giant ass chart of the things that influence your like pop culture, like world.
Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes were still in my childhood.
So this thing is absolutely gigantic. I'll have a link to it in the description.
Yeah.
Because look at this thing. This is spanning several decades. And even for like Gen Alpha, which is the generation like in diapers right now, they're just like, I don't know, we'll figure it out later. So what I like...
my kids are Gen Alpha.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought they were like younger Gen Z or something. No?
No, he's born. I think 2015 is the year Alpha starts.
Okay,
oh, yeah.
And that's the year he was born in December of 2015.
Got it. Okay, so probably somewhere here.
He's going to be a late Zoomer, early Alpha.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to like see how well this like does this look like what you would have watched at the time. So Carol, I hate to ask this, but what year were you born?
66.
66. Okay. So born 1965 to 70, early Gen X. So you got like things like Scooby-Doo, Wonder Woman, Rocky, all this stuff. Does this look
$6 Million Man?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Trek.
Oh yeah. That's
Benji,
all.
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Jaws, Scooby-Doo.
Schoolhouse Rock for sure. Oh yeah. That's all for sure.
Oh, and it has good times.
Good times, yeah.
What I was excited to see was in our generation, Atlas, was the Jackie Chan adventures, because I thought that was a fever dream for the longest time.
Oh no, it's real.
And then I saw it on one of these newer fucking streaming apps, and I've been rewatching it with my kid.
It's so good.
It's really still stands the test of time.
One thing I like about this chart is that some stuff will roll over from one side to the other.
To the next, yeah.
Yeah, so like between like early Gen X and core Gen X, something like Fat Albert,
Fat Albert,
Super Friends, Schoolhouse Rock,
hey.
Yeah. I also like how they put the president of like what you remember, so like Nixon and Ford, and then core Gen X you remember Jimmy Carter, and then you could kind of remember Reagan, but not really, that kind of thing.
You know what? Just on looking at this, and Carol, maybe I can get your opinion on this too, is it's also very insane to see how much more content is generated. Like if you can go back to the beginning, Atlas, to the Boomer thing, you're like, there's
the pictures are bigger.
Well, the pictures are bigger. There's less of them, but you're like, it's actually the generation of more content that makes it harder to identify a specific area, right? Like, think about it right now. We are in a content boom, and the majority is useless. It's absolutely horrible.
I don't know if you call that a boom. I think the boom was like 20 years ago when Sopranos and everything was out, and now it's just oversaturation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to where people don't even go to the movies anymore or watch TV. All people do is play on TikTok because there's so much shit on TV that's overwhelming.
There's also this thing where like I realized I can't talk about a commercial that I've seen on stage anymore because all the ads are targeted. So like you can either kind of give up the ghost of what it is you've either talked about or seen with, or people are just like, dude, I don't remember seeing the commercial with all the Playmobil people dancing to pop songs for Ralph's advertisements, like just shit like that.
And there's so much streaming now where you just watch Netflix and you just binge it, and then you don't ever watch commercials. That's me.
That too. Yeah.
Question for you guys: what, like for me, I enjoy binge watching something because I'm like, I can set up like it's a whole day. We've ordered takeout. We're staying in. Everything else is taken care of. We can just hang out and watch this show, and that's a fun thing because you can take breaks every episode, do other things between episodes. Like it's a good time. Whereas when it's like, oh, we're gonna release it once a week, I'm like, listen, asshole, I paid to watch this. You son of a bitch. You know,
it depends. For sitcoms, I want to binge watch them. Give me the whole season, or like just comedy. If it's drama, I kind of want to sit and stew with it for a week.
Well, yeah. So I
like The Last of Us. I like that they're doing a little at a time, and then you just. Yeah.
Have you watched it's Ricky Gervais Afterlife? It's a very good show. So it's like, but the problem is it's very, very intensely emotional. So it's like you're either pissing yourself laughing if you're a fan of Ricky Gervais, or kind of crying the whole time. It's quite.
Is that the one where his wife died at the beginning? Or
it's him dealing with that whole thing, right? But like that's the thing is if you kind of stretch it out, like the sadness just keeps going. But if you binge it, it's kind of like lump sum, and you're like, I'm gonna need a good 4 hours of happy stuff, you know? Like it's weird.
Oh no, Katie does that too, where she's rewatching Private Practice right now, which is a drama, as you know.
That's the spinoff of Grey's Anatomy, right?
Correct.
I love you, Dad.
Hey, go play. I love you too.
I want to be in here.
No, go play.
Man, I'm sorry.
Go play.
Please, can I?
No, go play.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, though. Go. So like every once in a while, she's got to take like Parks and Rec breaks.
Yeah,
like it starts to weigh on you after a while.
Definitely. Well, okay. So now there's a huge growing trend or assumption that's like, everyone now has ADHD. Just an FYI, we're all have issues, which I'm like, that's probably true. I'm not sure if it's ADHD, but we definitely have issues. So
I think that's a strategic thing by our government, honestly, to make us watch TikToks and then get our mind focused on shit, so they can just, by the way, we're nuclearly bombing places and droning people, and then in other news, the president needs to be voted for again. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of it, right?
Definitely. Oh man, the greatest American hero. The only reason I know about that is because of Homestar Runner and Family Guy. Both have references to it.
I never saw that.
Dad?
I never saw it. Actually, the other thing too is you guys have, so America has a lot of content that like not good content. Your good stuff you outsource and send it up to Canada, which is great. But you have a lot of stuff that you're like, nobody
it's
probably
just
enjoys
garbage,
that yeah. So that's like, it's interesting because people talk about shows and I'm like, oh, that can't be good. And then like, so Last American Hero or whatever, I'm like,
Greatest American Hero?
Whatever. I've seen it a million times, like
right
pictures of them. They're like, oh yeah, I remember that. I'm like, I have never seen that. And once someone showed it to me, I'm like, this thing's boring and sucks. No thanks.
It was a good show for its time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Some shows don't last. You know what I mean?
Well, I tried to watch G.I. Joe and Thundercats again, and I was like, maybe I was developmentally challenged when I was young. They didn't make sense. Like,
no,
the end where they're like, don't touch electrified wires. They're like, hey, dummy.
I feel that way about Power Rangers.
Like, okay, so there's definitely shows like that. So going to like around colonized era, like around here, late core, early, late millennial culture. Animaniacs was great. Animaniacs was awesome, although it was in reruns by the time I was watching it. For stuff like Digimon, Pokemon, like that wasn't good for its time. Powerpuff Girls was again, like for us, we were like, awesome, girls beating stuff up, and then
that Powerpuff Girls was interesting because you had a bunch of like boy children talking about, I'm the red one, I'm a great. Y'all are all girls. Is what y'all are doing.
It was
all
like
girls. That's okay.
Early trans acceptance. Go Powerpuff Girls.
Right.
No, but just like stuff like Rocket Power, as you can see here, is Tito from Rocket Power. Rocket Power, I went back and watched a few episodes. It is garbage. It's fun, but it's garbage.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't get on the whole anime craze. I mean, of course, we watch cartoons as kids, but like as an adult, like no. And my boyfriend, he's the Gen X, but he's on the end of the Gen X. Like he's 79. Same year as my sister, so he's so into the anime and stuff and wrestling and all that, whatever. And I'm like, boring.
Listen, Carol, you should know we were raised with just violence. That's that around. I'm 1980. Yeah, just violence. That's what we did.
He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Inspector Gadget, Ghostbusters.
See, I feel like us millennials, and then like the late Xers like Dino, I think we share the greatest cartoon of all time, which is Dragon Ball Z.
Oh God, yes! I once rented that from a comic book store in a mall and ended up having to pay $130 in late fees because we just kept on watching.
There's so much. There's so many episodes.
It's so slow. But when you're in puberty, you're just like, I'll watch every second of them mumbling. Because tune in next time when nothing happens still.
Yeah. Right. But this teaches me from touching myself because I'm 13.
Right.
Hey, not if Bulma was on the screen. If Bulma was on the screen, all bets were off. I needed some alone time. It's just sorry.
Speaking of nothing happening, oh my God, did you guys watch Ice Road Truckers? Did it infuriate you? Like every episode they were like, on this episode, they might fall through the ice. And then the next, nothing happens. And then the next episode, on this episode, they might fall through the ice.
I've never watched Ice Road Truckers. I've never been much of a reality show person.
Oh, my husband used to watch that thing because he was a trucker, and it was so infuriating. That
would be so weird.
Listen, it led to the creation of the entire genre of people just watching people do work. Like, so just remember, there's entire YouTube channels where it's just a guy driving truck across America. That's his job, and he's just okay. Just driving.
Down trees, people digging up gold, all those shows.
It's absolutely crazy. That's why it's like, I did watch Ice Road Truckers like twice, and I'm like, okay, nothing's happening here. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, they said last time, this time something happened. Nothing's happening, bro. You're just moving products, which it's a job, but I don't know why I'm watching it.
Exactly.
I definitely would like. I think because of the writer's strike, right? That's why all those reality shows like fucking came thundering in the like mid to late 2000s, and then from there,
they were the saving grace of so many networks. Where do you remember? I remember when Survivor came out. And people lost their goddamn minds. Okay,
I watched every episode of that.
Religion. Listen, you couldn't even PVR it. You couldn't record. Like,
no, you had to be home.
Had one old person who's like, "Do I have to get my VCR to record the episode this time?" Like, it was rough.
Yeah.
And then TiVo came out, and then it got easier in like the early 2000s.
Not always.
Okay, so when I was in, I think 7th grade, my language teacher, shout out to Miss Gallagher because I thought this was cool. At the beginning of every semester, if you were in her class, you picked a person from like that season of Survivor, and then if your guy won, you got a pizza party at the end.
Oh,
so like
nice.
it was like Super Bowl squares, kind of. So like every week you're like, okay, what happened? Did your guy get eliminated yet? And the first time she did it, I was absent that day, so I got the one they're like, all right, he gets it because we all picked ours, and it was this little skinny gay guy named Todd. This was on Survivor China, 2007, and they were like, all right, skinny gay guy's gonna lose. Todd fucking won Survivor China. I was like, yes, I did nothing, it still won.
That's the American dream. That's the American dream. I'm pretty sure.
It just goes to show you the little Machiavelli bastard is the one who always wins. Like
that show has been on so long that there's people watching it now that weren't even born when it started.
Yeah, you don't know what commercials are. You're like, what's a commercial? Why is there pause in the middle of the show?
Or even worse is people who are on it now are probably watching it as kids when it first started. Yeah. Yep,
that's for sure. Yeah, it was the first of its kind, that's for sure. Like, I mean, I'm sure there was the Real World before that, but
that was like the first.
Yeah, it was the first network Survivor, reality show. It was the first one that was on a network that was like watched all across America.
Because the Real World
was not. Yeah, it was on MTV.
Yeah. Because we didn't have MTV. We had Much Music. So we would get like music stuff, not the shows, and then we got just crap instead of good shows.
Canada sounds horrible.
Yeah, there's a law that states you have to have 30% Canadian content on your network. So we had Anne of Green Gables, which makes you want to pull your own eyes out.
There's Canadian content?
Bro, well, the funny thing is you can usually tell if it's Canadian content by the camera quality because it's dog shit.
I was about to say.
I just realized
every good Canadian just goes to America.
Well, yeah.
I just realized that this show could air on Canadian TV because it's 1/3 Canadian content.
Correct. There you go. And if we go by weight, it's a little more. It's good. Yeah.
I was just looking at a map the other day, and I didn't realize how close Toronto was to Cleveland.
Oh my god!
It's like on the other side of the lake. I could just get on a boat and just be there in an hour.
You're more than welcome to come. Like, I won't say hi, but yeah, Canada welcomes everyone.
I feel like I could get across the border easily. Just say A and say a boot. And I'm in. You know what I mean? You got any syrup? I need syrup for my
gravy.
Yeah, gravy. Maple gravy. But on the real, one of my best pastimes as a kid with my mom was watching The Flavor of Love. Y'all ever watch that?
Oh God, Flavor of Love.
I feel like your mom definitely
formed my personality a little bit. Like watching the ratchet women be ratchet women, and now I have an asphyxiation or an affinity, or whatever word I'm trying to use.
Fixation. Asphyxiation is a whole different thing.
Either or, you know.
A sexier thing.
For ratchet females, women who will fight me. Like, if I irk them in any way.
The entire state of Florida. Yeah.
Pretty much.
I feel like that would be a chain reaction. Cole going to Florida, that's like plutonium. Like, you just like... Beep.
That's episode 2 of Gullible's Travels. We got Egypt and then Florida.
I forgot about Gullible's Travels. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. We definitely gotta do that show.
We gotta do Gullible's Travels. That's great.
Yeah. Definitely. That's worthwhile. Yeah. So
I wanted to look at the Zoomer part of this. So you said because you had your younger siblings where they kind of pulled you toward the Zoomer end of the spectrum, and then now you have your kid who's like a late Zoomer.
I can't even see most of it. My kid don't watch no content. He just watches YouTube.
Okay. So none of that stuff. I mean, there's things
I try to get him to watch television with me, and that's cool or whatever, but he don't watch nothing of his era. He couldn't care less.
You know what I did? I made the kid my niece, I made her watch all the Looney Tunes cartoons and Pippi Longstocking and H.R. Pufnstuf. I bought her all the DVDs of all the stuff I grew up watching, and I made her watch all of that. I didn't let her watch network TV.
Listen, you gave her life skills. That's good.
How'd that work out for her?
They were still like advertising cigarettes to children, though.
I have no idea, honestly, like how it's going to impact her, but I just feel good that I did it.
Listen, let's be honest. She was a child. She grew up, and she left the house. If anything, that's a success from where I come from.
There you go.
So you did a great job.
Yeah, especially fucking people my age still that have never like moved out of their parents' house.
Oh yeah, no,
like it's one thing if you fall on hard times and need to go crash on the couch for a few months or whatever, but like there are people my age, I'm nearly 30, I'll be 29 in April, that have never moved out of their parents' house. And doesn't seem like they have any intention to ever They're like, oh, the housing crisis is so expensive right now. Right.
Well, that's the assumption.
Your parents can also be a cosigner, so
right? People make that assumption that if I leave, I need to buy a house. You're like, no, you just need to leave. You don't need to buy a house. You can go live on the street, but you need to leave.
Right. You can live in your Honda Civic. Like you can get a Honda Civic for like $1,600.
By the way, there is a growing trend of people who have taken like normal cars. They take out the back seat, so it goes right to the trunk, and create like a bed system and a cooking area and everything. They're like living in their car. I'm like. I get it, but also
what has America come to?
Well, this is the thing: is people are like, "Oh, I have all these degrees," and you're like, "Are you employable?" Oh, no, then you don't. It doesn't matter what degrees you have because nobody likes you. Oh,
I don't know.
It's tough, right?
They did this video on some more news, which are like a bunch of these people from College Humor. And they were talking about like how expensive it is to be poor. And
that's not a thing.
It is. It is. Are you kidding me? It's way more expensive to be poor because they make you do like they'll jack up your interest rates if you got shitty credit and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just not easy. And then like they want you to put down payment, but if you have shoddy history of being able to pay stuff, they want a bigger down payment, things like that.
Yeah, there's that, and then like the old adage is a good pair of boots costs $40, a shoddy pair of boots costs $20. You're back.
But you have to keep buying boots.
You have to keep buying the shitty pair of boots.
So what you do is you live with a shitty shirt for 6 months extra, and then you can afford your boots. Listen, what you're talking about
is say that. You think that.
I'm sending you the video after this.
I've lived it. Listen, I'm telling you is that when these are the consequences of your actions, you have to understand yes, life is hard. It's always been hard. People will take advantage of poor people, whatever the case, whatever the time, whatever the scenario. People want equality. No, they don't. They want to just win. I want to win and not have to actually put in the effort for it. Right. I want to win too. And I don't want to put in any effort, but that's not how life works. Right.
I don't know. I do a pretty good job. I do very little effort, not no effort, but very little. And I'm getting every year I make more money. So
that happens until a certain age, especially for men too, where then people just start to slow down. You're like, what? Right? Trust me. The whole thing. Is Carol okay? Is she coming back?
I don't know. I just messaged her. I'm waiting for her to answer.
Yeah. But well. Hopefully she comes back. I am enjoying this list though because I'm seeing stuff and I'm like, okay, I watched that. Oh, I'm not from that generation. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I figure if you're poor too, I didn't even think about it. But if you're poor, you can't get a mortgage, and rent costs more than mortgage 9 times out of 10. So
and that's like something like that. So realistically, the idea that paying rent regularly cannot be used on your credit bureau is something that I highly, highly, highly think is.
That is the biggest bogus I've ever heard. Like, I don't understand how that's like. It's never been paying your rent on time. I've been paying my rent on time for fucking almost 6 years.
And that doesn't count for anything. You also can't declare it on your taxes either.
But remember too, if you don't pay your rent though, that can affect your credit. That's where
you're and then get this one. I just found this out. I had fallen behind on my child support by a few months last year. That affects your credit, but paying it on time doesn't affect your credit. Why the fuck does it affect my credit at all? Like I don't think that should affect my credit at all either way. Like paying it on time, or that's a me issue. Why is me falling behind on my payments affect my credit in a negative way, but me catching back up doesn't improve my credit at all?
Correct.
Or never missing a payment even. You know what I mean? That is the dumbest shit I've ever. That's between me and the other person who had a child with. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the whole thing. Apparently, there's also the whole idea of once the state is responsible for child support, that the state actually makes money off that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it tells me. I've read all of the paperwork and everything.
But and you're like, yeah. So in other words, if you were able to handle it amicably, which is not what the court wants, the court wants it to be in court, you to spend money, like
for sure, because you got to pay court fees and all that. I tried to stay out of court the whole which way, but she wanted to go through court, so I had no choice. So,
and you know what, like I don't. For anyone watching, Carol's internet went out. Hopefully it comes back. If it doesn't, I guess we'll just let everybody know where she can be followed. Alice,
I'm waiting for her to answer. But you were saying?
No, but it's one of those things where it's like the whole idea is that when people acted without being accountable, it resulted in the government saying, well, we're going to hold you accountable. But they didn't actually have a plan for that, right? It's the same thing with the draft. They'll do a draft because, well, we need people to fight. You're like, oh, but you've destroyed your nation's health, and now your people that you can draft are non-existent. Yeah, right. Those are consequences of your action, right? Like not trusting a farmer to talk about agriculture and food and how it affects people is ridiculous, right? You're trusting a lawyer to make decisions about food. You're like, yeah, that's not. They're fucking idiots, right? But that's.
Well, most lawyers are only in it for themselves. They're the most thug life without without breaking the law. Like they're legally allowed to do what they do, but they're pretty much the thugs of the legal system. You know, on the legal side of legality.
Yes. Well, that's why. Look, you have to remember that throughout history, whenever organized crime and stuff was powerful, the government had to be on its toes, but that the people tend to be able to function with ease, right? Because there are bigger problems. But when the government took out, organized crime and things like that, well, you had the generation of now white collar crimes, which are worse and less accountable, and people are getting off scot-free. And you're like, so hold on, now we went from people who could be charged to nobody being charged, and we still get fucked, right? It's all about having that balance, the legal and the illegal. Like I came up with a theory a while ago where I'm like, honestly, the only people who should be allowed to vote in any government would be veterans and felons. Because
my brother said that exact same thing the other day. He was like, felons should be the only people allowed to vote. And I forget what his point was, but
well, they're the ones who are actually trying to structure the system or break it down. Right. So if they have an active interest in managing the system itself, they will do that. But veterans are protecting the system. So they are the dichotomy of pro and against of function.
Away now, please.
He just wants your love, bro.
I don't blame him for wanting to get in on it. I like something about your parent doing something where it looks cool, even though it may not be what you would be interested in when you're 8. Or whatever, like you're like, I gotta get in there.
I'm 7 years old.
He's 7, yeah. Okay. But here's the thing: it's more. It's not really that it looks cool. What it is I've told him no. That's it. Now he's like, well, why? You know, like, why is it a no? Like that's all it is.
That's standard 7-year-old stuff.
The thing is,
we're talking about advanced math, and advanced math is boring, objectively. Like it's not fun.
Parabolas.
Physics and
exactly
algebra.
It's
algebra.
The problem. The honest to God problem is he is a very good child. Okay, like he is.
Yeah.
It's that's the problem is that he's a good kid. You know what I mean? He doesn't ask for things often. And when he does ask, it's usually the answer is usually yes, because it's not something that's like, no, why the fuck? So like when I do tell him no, he's like, you've never said that to me. Like it's not that I'm spoiling him, it's that he doesn't ask for anything that I can't give him. You know what I mean? Or don't want to. So it spoils him in a way. You know what I mean? So when I tell him no, he's like, why?
No.
You've never done that.
Why would you do
I'm
that?
creating a serial killer is what it's coming down to.
Oh, you're saying that to him.
I know some cats. Like one of my family members has a lot of cats.
That was random as hell, bub.
Okay, but cats are adorable.
He's definitely yours.
A lot of cats. A lot of cats.
Like,
in the meantime,
don't play before you start filling in too many gaps for people. Go.
Plugged Carol. Is she here? Oh, she's home.
Yeah. Sorry, she's here.
I did not see that. Sorry, Carol.
That's okay.
Hey, welcome back. All right.
The internet went down. I don't know what happened. Weirdness.
Hey, the worst part about that is it's a constant issue, but at the same time, none of us know how to fix the internet. We're all like, I unplugged it, plugged it back in, now it works.
Plug it back in.
Exactly. Unplug everything, reboot, and you're good to go.
I'm not even really convinced the internet is the thing. Like, it's just like oxygen or God or something. It's just, you can't see it. People say it's there. It might be, it might not be. You know what I mean? Like,
the fuck are you talking about? All right.
I really want to draw a comparison between like that and herpes. What he just said, I'm like, yeah, it's there, but it's not there. And you're like, yeah, that's not.
Go play.
I want to hug you.
I'm not a hugging father. You never wanted to hug me before. Now that I'm on screen, you want to hug me.
So good.
The hugs come from your mother.
No, they don't there. So before we ask Carol our last question, you can find us at Generation Dan on YouTube, Instagram.
All right, go.
I think it's just at Generation Dan on Twitter, at Generation_Dan on Instagram.
Yeah. And then the YouTube channel. And I'm Dino Generic Marvel. Google me. Then
at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or my other podcast is at Nexus at Night, those same places. Oh, yeah, I have a TikTok now. Same name, just for comedy stuff. So
you see his
hell yeah, I need to follow it.
Yeah, just first name, last name. What about you, Cole?
You can find me at Sniffing Glue 22. And I just made my kid cry. Which is insane because like what my mother put me through, I would have never even showed tears because I didn't want to give her the satisfaction. All I said was go away, and now that's Oh,
have a great rest of your day.
I'm creating a fragile child, is what it is. So this gentle parenting shit is not for me.
Carol, how about
I'm
you?
learning.
Find
you? You can find me on the Venmo, the Instagram, and on the
Venmo.
Facebook at the World's Best Laugh. You guys at the World's Best Laugh. That's me, Carol Newell, at the World's Best Laugh.
Nice,
good stuff.
All right.
So our final question, which is a memorable set you've had as a comedian. Good, bad, weird, crazy, otherwise. Go for it.
Most memorable set. The first open mic I ever did, I did at Flappers, and I completely bombed. It was like 6 months into my comedy career, so I'd already been doing shows. I had no idea what this open mic thing was about, so I just like, I'm going to go to Flappers and do an open mic. And then the whole night, I was the only person to laugh at anybody. And then when I was up, nobody laughed. And I was like, I almost quit comedy, you guys. I was like, F this. I'm not doing this bullshit. This is what open mics are. F this.
Wait.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Wait. How are you doing shows and then go to open mics?
Exactly. Well, I knew a producer and she was like, I'm going to put you on a show. And then she put me on a bunch of shows. So I was doing shows. And then I was like, well, I'm going to try an open mic and see what that's about.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, it was not good. But 2 years later, I happened to be at Flappers to meet somebody and they were having an open mic. So I was like, sure, why not? I'll just throw my, receipt in there. And they picked me to come up and I actually got laughs at. I felt like I had redemption, you guys. Yeah.
You know what? It's funny that you would say that, Carol, because I found the same thing was when I started doing comedy was I found myself I had a hard time laughing at things. And then after the pandemic, I'm like, no, I should laugh. Laugh at everything you possibly can. And people are like, why are you laughing so much? I'm like, because it was funny. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, that's the whole thing. We're comedians. We make people laugh and we should enjoy laughter because a lot of people don't. And you're like, yeah, that's not healthy. That's a bad thing.
Not the
that's a big thing for me too. When I go to mics and shows and shit, I'm sitting there having the time of my life. Just watching the other comedians because that's why I got into this business. Because I'm a fan, you know what I mean? Like, don't be a cunt about
I know
other comedians and all the politics and everything.
I know for like a place like Flappers or the store or the Improv or whatever, where like there's a weird vested interest in not laughing at other people's stuff.
Yeah.
because it's like, ooh, if they look worse, I can look better. It's not a zero-sum game, guys. You know?
That's the problem. So many people, like, that was a new thing when I just finished college, was like, it wasn't enough that people wanted to be successful. They wanted to watch others fail. And I'm like, yeah, that means you're a bad person. Okay. That's you're just garbage. They're like, no, other people shouldn't be successful. And you're like, why not? They're like, because they shouldn't. You're like, that's not a reason, idiot. That just means you're a piece of shit, you know?
This isn't medieval Europe, you guys. Relax.
Even then, come on. It's just...
Well, even if they're not, like, they don't have the best timing yet or whatever because they're newer or whatever. Like, you, as a comedian, you know where they're going with it. You know what the thought process is because I'm sure you've had a similar, or you understand how they're putting the dots together. It's funny. Don't be a dick, you know. I never understood that. These people. I also don't get along with a lot of comedians either. So, like,
people. Notoriously horrible. Notoriously horrible. Yeah, that's fair. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so thanks everybody for listening. Leave a like, leave a comment if you're on YouTube. If you're on your podcast app of choice, leave a review. Helps the show out. Yeah. Good stuff.
And make sure as scathing as possible. Really makes us feel good.
Yeah, do like a nice 2.5 star.
Like, the problem with these people is it's essentially the circle of male pattern bottomless happening on screen. Listen, it's fine. We're okay with it. We're also not as fat as I used to be, but still fat. It's great.
That should have been the show's name instead of Generation Dan. Bye, everyone.